This is the Big Nasty. Yeah, Big Nasty. Hall of Fame Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan, baby.
This is Mike Allstott, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and you're listening to the Cannon Fire Podcast.
Cannon Fire Podcast, brother. You ain't listening, and you're missing out. Woo!
Brady drops the throw, gets the pass away, dart shot, caught, ball first down to the 20, outside the number, Godwin the 10, 5, 3, 2, 1, touchdown Tampa Bay! Fire the cannon! Brady under pressure, gets the pass away, caught ball, Evans, touchdown Tampa Bay! Fire the cannon!
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new edition of the Cannon Fire Podcast. Coming back at you today for episode 108. New uniforms are here, and by God, do they look good. We have got plenty of voicemails with your guys' reactions as you called into the Cannon Fire hotline. We're going to go over some of the draft rumors floating around right now, maybe what you should expect coming up in the near future from us here at CFP. And of course, we have got some number changes on the horizon for our Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Quite a few of them, actually. We're going to break down all of those, plus much more, today on a brand new episode of the show. Welcome back. If you're new around here, I am your host, as always, Rhett Mustache Matthew. Pleasure to be back here with you. It kind of sucks that I don't have any facial hair this time around. I mean, I've got the mustache, but if you guys are true listeners of the show, you really know the story. If you don't, I'll fill you in very quickly. I was dead last in the Cannon Fire Podcast 2019 Fantasy Football League, and typically when you are the worst player of the year, there is a punishment you have to go through. And the punishment for me was I had to shave my glorious beard. I can't remember a time without my beard other than right now. So here's where we are, and at this point we just have to put up with it. So I hope it looks good on video, I hope it translates well, and I'm very happy to be here. Now, I introduced myself as Rhett Mustache Matthew. Let me not forget to introduce my co-host this evening, the one and only Philly Bucks fan himself, Mr. Evan Wanish. Evan, how are you doing, my man?
Pretty good, and you know, I'm happy to be in the same presence as the beardless one, so you know, it's an honor. It really is. And
I really
finally glad that we were able to come up with a punishment because, you know, fantasy football ended in December, and we just now come up with a punishment.
Oh, yeah.
But, hey, when you got nothing else to do, when you're just sitting at home for weeks at a time, this is what happens, you know?
Absolutely. I've got all this time on my hands, so I figured something needed to happen. Push came to shove, and here we are. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people do, but I'll tell you what, man. I'm feeling like Wade Boggs everywhere I go. I've always got my Tampa sports cap on. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be a Rays hat. It could be a Bucks hat. It could be a Lightning hat. I feel like a Tampa legend. And quite frankly, this is the most good I felt in a very long time. I had a buddy of mine tell me that the longer the mustache grows, the more powerful I will become. So let's hope that is the case. But I am still the same subpar show host. So without further ado, let's get into what we have got for you guys today. Plenty of great voicemails to get to. But before we get into that, we're going to talk about the new uniforms. Don't you worry. But let's talk about some number changes for our Tampa Bay Buccaneers and just get these out of the way. Because normally it seems like in offseason you have one or two guys who change their numbers. But this year, I mean, it was 7 or 8. So let's go over every single one. There's a few that happened a little while ago that we just haven't talked about on the show. We're going to get into those right now. It has been confirmed that Tampa Bay, the TB12 brand, will continue to strive in Tampa Bay as Tom Brady has agreed with Chris Godwin to take the number 12. So Tom Brady will remain TB12, and Chris Godwin has switched over to number 14. I'll be honest with you, I kind of wanted Chris Godwin wearing 11. Like, I think it would have looked a little more slick. I like 14, but when I see it in the New Jersey, I can't help but think of Brad Johnson every single time. Did you want a preference number for Chris Godwin?
No, I always like 19. Would have brought me back to Mike Williams days.
Yeah.
18 is another good one. Like, I really like 18, but I mean, I'm okay with 14. Like, I would rather have 14 than like 16 or something. Like, I don't really like that much, but Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it, really. He could have had 11 because at the time Blaine Gabbert was not re-signed, which actually we haven't discussed. They obviously re-signed Blaine Gabbert to a 1-year deal, so he'll likely be Brady's backup. And maybe later on the show we'll discuss possibly how that could affect our plans for a quarterback later on the draft. But I don't know. Always like a receiver wearing like 17, 18, 19. 12 is a good one, but I always like... I don't know. I always think of 12 as like a quarterback number, and maybe it's because it's like Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers and stuff, and maybe that's why. But I don't know, man. I always think of once you get past 12, I really don't think of them as quarterback numbers. But 1 to 12, I always find that those are quarterbacks, and you know, I don't mind it. I 14 wouldn't be my choice, but hey, you know. It's probably his, I guess, second best because he had his choice, and it was, I believe, 11 was available. 18, I'm pretty sure was available. 19 was available. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, 16 probably was available. I'm drawing a blank, but I know 17 is obviously Justin Watson, 10 Scotty Miller. So, you know, I'm okay with it. So,
yeah.
Whatever. It is what it is, you know. But there hasn't been many notable 14s in Buccaneer history besides Brad Johnson, really. So
yeah,
I mean, maybe Chris Godwin could be, you know, the best player ever.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Vinny Testaverde wear 14?
Yeah, I was gonna say yes, but now I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah, all right, I'm gonna hold you to it because if there's some OG. If there's some OG going off on us in the comments later saying, Testaverde didn't wear 14, you effing idiots, then I'm putting it on you. But let's make sure we get through the rest of this list of number changes. Moving on.
He wore 14.
Look at that. Memory serving me correctly once again. Thank you very much.
He wore 14 at the U, and he wore 14 with the Bucks.
Fantastic.
He looks like he wore 16 pretty much everywhere else, and then wore 12 with the Ravens.
Nice. So, moving on, offensive tackle Joe Haig, who we just brought in from Indianapolis, will wear 73, the same number he wore while playing for the Colts. Carlton Davis has moved his number from 33 to 24.
Thank God.
A move that kind of surprised me. You know what? I didn't even mind 33.
Is a great cornerback number. You're talking Champ Bailey, Darrell Revis. It's just a really nice cornerback number. Anything in the 20s. Anything in the 20s or like 31. Once you get past like Jamel Dean, it's time, buddy. Like 25, Peyton Barber's gone. 25's open. Just go to 25 so we can have 23, 24, and 25 as the three corners.
And speaking of that other cornerback wearing number 23, Sean Murphy Bunting moves his number from 26 to 23. We've got John Franklin. People might remember him from the last game of the season, and of course, Last Chance U. Still signed with the Bucks. He was bumped from 14 because of Chris Godwin taking that number. He's going to be wearing number 19. Of course, Brashad Perryman used to wear that number before he signed with the Jets, so 19 was available. Let me ask you something really quick about this John Franklin number. He posted something on Twitter. I believe he might have posted it on Instagram as well, but I saw it on Twitter. And it was an edited photo of him in a Bucks uniform with the number 5. And the post was like, everything comes full circle, blessed to be here, yada, yada, yada. And it really put me under the impression that he was going to be wearing number 5. So we've got one source saying that he's wearing 19. We've got him himself thinking that he's going to wear number 5. Do we have a solid answer on this?
I don't. I don't. It's really weird. It really is. I don't know because he was like blessed, happy to be back in 5. 5 is back. So my thing is, if he's going to 5, I do believe that you have to be like a quarterback, kicker, or punter to be 5. Like to be a single digit, I still believe that rule is in place. So. Is he going back to a quarterback? But I mean, there's Greg Allman is the one who said that he was going from 14 to 19, but then him himself says 5. Like it's really time will tell, right?
And it's almost more of a debacle than just a number in this specific situation because you brought it up. If he's going to go back to wearing 5, chances are, Yeah, he's going to be a quarterback on the depth chart, which leaves a lot of question marks for a guy like Ryan Griffin, the third string quarterback, who a lot of people right now don't know if he's going to return or not.
Well, here's my thoughts. Here's my thoughts on how I think if John Franklin is going to be a quarterback. Here's my thoughts on how he's going to be able to make this roster.
You think they'll carry 4 quarterbacks? Let me ask that right out of the way.
Well, let me finish it up of why I think it might be possible.
Fair enough.
So they tried last year with Nick Fitzgerald to do this Taysom Hill type thing, but Nick Fitzgerald was just hurt. So maybe they look at John Franklin and see a guy that can do it all. Maybe they want to give him another shot. So are you really carrying 4 quarterbacks? Like if you have confidence in John Franklin and he can be like a utility guy, you're kind of carrying 3. And I there is no guarantee that Ryan Griffin makes the roster, but I mean, since he's like the preseason god, I would bet he probably does. But maybe he's that Taysom Hill type guy, And honestly, I find Taysom Hill incredibly annoying. But I would also really like to have a Taysom Hill. If I was a GM, I'd like to have a Taysom Hill on my roster.
Wouldn't every single team in the league at this point?
Well, yeah, it's something, another thing for a defense to look at that, Taysom Hill, it's weird. He was a nobody. Like, he's like 31 years old. Nobody realizes it.
Yeah.
Like, he's not young. Like, it's not like he's just a rookie. He's been in the league. It's just, he just really caught fire with the Saints, and they have a perfect role for him. So maybe, Bruce Arians and Byron Leftwich really think that they possibly have a perfect role for John Franklin. I mean, we'll see. I'm not guaranteeing he's going to make the roster, but we're spending a lot of time on a guy who, may not even make this roster. But, like, he's a special case because, like, I know him from a TV show. Like, that's the crazy part,
As do, I'm sure, maybe 80% of the people who know who he is on the Bucs roster.
Yeah, you know him. You might know him from if you watch any Auburn games. If you're an FSU diehard, you might know that he redshirted in 2013 when Jameis Winston was there, and then Jameis Winston was there in 2014, but Franklin didn't play, so he left and went to East. Is it East Mississippi? I think it was East Mississippi. Yeah, I think, and that's where he was on Last Chance U. So, but I mean, yeah, most of people, if you know his name, you're gonna know him from that show. So. I'm excited to see what they do with him. I think it's intriguing.
Yeah, definitely a storyline to keep an eye on as training camp approaches. If we have training camp, of course, we know OTAs aren't going to be happening. What was that?
No, I was just saying, like, I think any event, kind of, you're like literally any event, they're like, oh yeah, this could happen. Well, it could.
Yeah, it's 50-50 right now. I saw a story out today.
Any show, even like in September or October, you're like, yeah, I'm definitely going to that. Well, maybe.
Fingers crossed. Folks, just stay inside and wash your damn hands. That's all you got to do right now. Let's get to this last number change, and then we'll jump into some voicemails that we've got regarding the new uniforms the Buccaneers unveiled today. Safety Andrew Adams is moving from number 39 to number 26. Now, if you're familiar with Andrew Adams, he wore 26 for the Bucs before, but he was let go that offseason, came back, was re-signed, and Sean Murphy-Bunting was already wearing 26, so he was bumped up to 39. So now with Sean Murphy-Bunting moving numbers, Andrew Adams is able to get the number that he wore many years ago.
Maybe that's just the key, because Andrew Adams had 4 interceptions when he wore 26 and 1 when he wore 39. So
yeah, you never know. Could be the number. But we have got a backfield of number 23, number 24. You got number 26 now. All we need is, just like you said, Jamel Dean to swap out of that 35, get into 25. We'll get the numbers rolling, baby.
Maybe draft a corner or sign like Tony Jefferson. He takes 22. Justin Evans comes back healthy. He takes 21.
Yep.
Ryan Smith's already 29. So
look at offense. You don't have a receiver wearing a number 11, but you got Scotty Miller wearing 10. I guess Blaine Gabbert in 11, Brady in 12, Mike Evans 13, Chris Godwin 14. These Bucs can really count. So, let's get into the obvious news that I'm sure people listening have been waiting for since the start of the show, and it has to do with those beautiful uniforms the Buccaneers graced us with today. Now, I'm sure you have seen it, so I'm not going to bother trying to explain it to you, but they're the Super Bowl era jerseys. That's it. That's the whole thing. The only different jersey that we got was an all pewter color rush, which I think is one of the most unique looks in the league. But it feels good to finally say, at least, for the first time in almost 7 years, that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have the best uniforms in the league. I'm not even biased, dude. Nobody else can pull off red and pewter, and the way that the Bucs are able to do it, I like the move going back to the simple Super Bowl era design. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, and that's exactly what they did. They also darkened the logo a little bit. Buccaneers kept both of their logos, the ship, of course, and the flag, but they darkened the Buccaneer red to more of a red that it was before. Because you remember
real quick, that flag is absolutely sick. If you guys haven't seen it, go back and look. It's shown mostly on the hype video. The flag it's on the red and white one. It's not on the pewter one. On the pewter one, the flag's red. But on the red and white one, it's, oh my god, it's black, and it's beautiful. It really is. I think that's one of the best parts of the jersey. Absolutely. That just looks so sick. And I mean, like you said, there is a subtle difference. So the pewter that they're using now is not the pewter that they used from the Super Bowl era.
It's still like the gray base.
Yeah, it is the same exact pewter that they used for the 2014 to 2019 uniforms. It is the same exact pewter, because quite frankly, Nike couldn't go back to the technology from 1997. So the helmet is the same color, I believe. Might be a little bit darker. There is obviously a black face mask now instead of chrome,
which I like.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Whatever. I didn't mind the face mask. I didn't really care, but I'm okay with that. And then, of course, there's a little bit of orange. There's less orange now than there was in the 2014 and 2019 ones. What should we call those? What are
the alarm clocks? I guess that's the only thing that people refer to them, because the glaring issue was the numbers. So
you got creamsicle, Super Bowl, and alarm clock. It's weird.
What a fall from grace.
Yeah, I mean, you could technically say the Jameis Winston era ones, because I mean, those uniforms are going to define him.
You're not wrong.
He didn't wear another uniform.
It's a shame. Did you actually see that on the Buccaneers Instagram, of all the reveals, Jameis is still liking their posts?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that broke my heart.
Maybe he's trying to get on their good side, trying to come back.
You never know. Just check your sheets, and maybe we'll have some room for him in the future.
Check your sheets, and all they have to do is see that he's balling, and he'll win the job, no problem.
Oh, Jesus. When this is all said and done, I really do hope he gets a job somewhere.
Really fast. Something I was thinking about today with my countless hours of time that I have on my hands. So the Buccaneers, when they're in practice, where the offense wears white jerseys, right? The defense wears red. So remember how Jameis Winston had more interceptions at home than he did on the road? Well, that's just because in practice he's used to throwing the guys in white. That's all. That's all it is.
And the Buccaneers, I actually saw you put this in a group chat, wherein the Buccaneers only wore white at home one time last season?
Yep. Yeah, they only wore white at home once. So they the saying that they always wear white is not really true, at least for this last year, because I mean week one versus the 49ers they wore red. Week 3 versus the Giants they wore red. Those are two, that's September games. Those are two hot games right there. And they only wore white week 10 versus Arizona. It was white on white, and they ended up winning that game. So
I was there.
They wore red more than they wore white, because they also wore red on the road versus the Rams. So
I wish I had the X-Files theme song queued up and ready to go.
I was there for the Cardinals game.
This past season? Yeah, you were there because we tailgated together. I'm such an idiot. We literally have a picture of the both of us at the What the Buck tailgate. Oh man, I am losing my mind.
You came over, we recorded a show, you remember?
Yeah, I know. Things are crazy, man. Before I lose my mind any further, let's get into some of these voicemails we have. Of course, we opened up the Cannon Fire hotline for you guys to call us, and by the way, that is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You are always welcome to call in and leave us a voicemail about your thoughts. If you have an opinion you want to drop or just a question you want to ask us, 813-433-0323 is the number to call. Let's get into our first voicemail out of the 305. What have you got?
Woo! Let's go, baby! These new uniforms are lit. I love the white one. The white one is just crazy. It's so fresh. I like the orange accent in there. You got the creamsicle and the numbers. It almost looks like it's on fire. Like the fucking scoreboard is going to be, baby. We're going to fire them cannons, baby. Let's go. I'm hot. All pure go hard, too. Oh, yeah.
My man out of the 305 is hype as hell, and as he should be. I got to agree with him 110%. These uniforms are so good. Like I said before, I think they're some of the best uniforms in the NFL. Don't think there's another team who could pull off that color combo quite as nice. And for the Bucs, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They went back to what worked. Let's get into another voicemail out of the 208 up in Idaho.
What up, Cannon Fire Podcast? This is your boy Debo up in northern Idaho, dropping a line on these new unis, man. They are straight fire. Glad they went with the black mask on the helmet. Kept the new style of lettering. Man, we got that all pewter finally. Boy, that is fire. All right, y'all. We got them. Y'all be good now. Later.
Thanks to our buddy Debo out of northern Idaho for giving us a call. Sharing the same sentiments that our last guy called us out of the 305. These uniforms look damn good, and I have seen a lot of positive feedback. We've got another voicemail we're going to get into. This one out of the 602. What's up, my man?
What's going on, Ken Fire Podcast? First of all, I love the show. And the uniform reveal was amazing. Super happy to went back to the Super Bowl era. Kind of played it safe with it, in my opinion, but I think they made the right call. But my question is to you, what is the significance of the flag to you guys as far as the logo goes? This is something that made me a fan when I was a kid, and I don't know if I could continue being as much of a fan of the team had they maybe changed it to the ship. I know it hasn't been changed and everything. We don't know if it ever will be changed, but just thought I'd get you guys' thoughts on that. Thanks for taking my question, and take care, guys.
Thanks for calling in, my man. Now, his question has to do with the flag. The Buccaneers decided to keep the flag logo, and he had brought up the significance that the flag has to him. It's a big reason why he's a fan, and he just wanted to get our intake on, I guess, what the flag means to us. At least that's what I've gathered from the question that he sent in. But it's kind of funny that he brought that up, because I just wanted to throw this in there. A little over a week ago was April Fool's Day, and that was our April Fool's joke on all of the Cannon Fire Podcast social media. You can follow us there, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All of those are Cannon Fire Podcast. I had posted the ship, because this was up for debate for a very long time, and basically it had said, in a very unexpected move, the Buccaneers have changed their primary logo from the flag to the ship. And it was all a big April Fool's joke. It was incredible the amount of people who didn't know it was an April Fool's joke, but it was just a joke. But it's ironic that he brought that up, because he's just talking about the flag and what it means to him. So let me stop wasting time. Let me answer this question, and then, Evan, I'm going to get your take. For me, the flag, it almost sounds goofy, but I can see entirely where he's coming from with this, in the sense that, like, you know how Pittsburgh has their terrible towel? Like, I almost see the Bucs having that flag. I wish we saw more flags fill up the stadium. I feel like we used to, but I don't know why they stopped. I know years and years ago, everybody used to have a little flag, like a Bucs flag. And
yeah,
it was
they haven't been in the playoffs.
Well, yeah, I guess that's why. But it would be nice to see those flags come back. But, I mean, that's what, at least it symbolizes for me. I think it's cool that you have a logo you can actually carry around and wave, and it looks the same as it does anything else team-related. But what do you think? How do you feel about the flag, and are you happy that it's still here? Would it have made a difference to you if they let it go? I
think it's one of the better logos in sports. I know I may be a little bit biased, but I think the color scheme of it, like I do think that actually this logo now is actually better than the Super Bowl era flag. I think it's more looks more, fun, and I just think it looks nice. So big thing with me is like the flag, the logo is something, like you said, so easy to wave around or something like that, and really, like you look at like Pittsburgh Pirates, like it's an okay logo, like whatever. Like the Oakland Raiders, like I know a lot of people were like, well, that's technically a pirate too. Like, well, kinda, but like you want to talk about like the best like pirate logo, I think it's got to be the Bucks.
Oh yeah.
It really has to be, and a big thing when you said waving the flags, like you go around Tampa, and I've seen it a bunch around Tampa. There's, those people, those flags that you can put, on your car, like through like your window. And they just like when you drive, they're there, and that's really cool because that's basically showing off the logo pretty much, and some flags have like some more details, like some are like just like the pennant style, like the American flag, but some have like the tears at the end, so it looks like it's like all ripped and it's nice. So I think a lot of that is super cool. I think it's awesome that the sword is the thing that's holding the flag up.
Yeah,
I think that adds an extra element to it. I just think overall it's just really good. And I mean, technically, you almost have a version of the flag in the other logo as well, and in the ship. One of the sails is almost a flag. So, and it's the logo for our show. So, showing a lot of bias there.
Yeah, right.
If they would have gone to another logo, I don't know what we would have done, but. I think it's really cool. Like I said, at a game that they'll say raise the flags and stuff like that. It's really fun, and I just think it's great marketing for them. And just like I said, I just think it's a really clean logo, and I think it's actually improved from I think the flag and the font is really better.
Oh yeah.
I really think it's better than the Super Bowl one. I also really like the ship better. So
I'll be honest,
ship looks more detailed to me.
I think the ship looks way better. I'll agree with you there. And kind of talking about the old lettering, for instance, the old Buccaneers that was across the chest of the Super Bowl era uniforms, to me, that was extremely, like, early to mid-2000s. You know what I mean? It almost looks like a dated font nowadays. That old Buccaneers, where it was, kind of what it is now, just not as clean. When referring to the old Super Bowl uniforms. But one more thing I'll say about the flag, and then we can move on to 2 more voicemails that we've got for you guys. It's so synonymous with Tampa Bay football. And I think the argument could be made that the skull and the cross swords with the football is the Bucs' real logo, per se. But the fact that the flag is incorporated, allowing it to be as creative as it is, I love it, and I am definitely glad that it's here to stay. Let's get into
like, what is the Rays official logo really? Like, it just says Rays, and
it's got sun ray.
Yeah, I mean, and then the lightning. It's a lightning bolt. Like there's things that when you're thinking about bolts, right? You think lightning. You think Tampa Bay Lightning. When you see a pirate flag, the first thing I think of is Tampa Bay.
Oh yeah.
The Rays, I mean, not so much because I really don't see like Rays, like whatever that is. Like I don't.
With
know.
the Rays, I mean, you've got the
they should go back
ray.
to the Devil Rays, but whatever.
They should. I don't agree with you. I think the color scheme should go back to the green and purple. Oh man, that was clean as hell.
Yeah. Well. How about that 2008 World Series? So let's bring that back.
How about it? All right, so let's get into our last few voicemails of the evening. We've got
transition quick.
Yeah, I have to at this point. I got to get away from that because talking Rays baseball does nothing but piss me off.
But they're good. I don't understand. Like you left at like the worst time. I'm not a Rays fan, and I'll admit that
it took them. It took them for me. It took them 10 years too long to get to that point, though. Like they were good.
The Bucs haven't been to the playoffs since 2007.
I've got more patience with the Bucs than I do the Rays. Bottom line, that's it. Yeah, man. I love the Bucs more. I'm willing to live without baseball in Tampa as long as I have a good football team in Tampa Bay. But enough talking.
You haven't had that, so.
Oh man, enough talking about the Rays. This is not a Tampa Bay Rays podcast. This is a Bucs podcast, and we've got some voicemails we got to get into. Our next one comes from the 813. Some people calling in from Tampa.
Hey guys, it's Sean from the Land O'Lakes area. Love the new look jerseys. They look incredible. Now the question is, what color are you getting that Brady jersey in? Go Bucks.
Sean at Orlando Lakes, thanks for calling, man. First off, like, is he at work? Do you hear the ringing phone behind him? I feel like he's in an office. He's one of the essential workers, and he's out here calling us. We appreciate his call, but if he's got work to do, bro, just answer the phone. It made me anxious. I thought we had another call coming in.
Yeah, it's like people listening to this to start looking around their house.
Yeah, right?
Think, you know.
But
thanks for the call anyway, though.
Yeah, thank you, Sean, for calling in, buddy. But his question to us is, what color Tom Brady jersey are you going to be getting? As we discussed, the Buccaneers dropped their red home jerseys, the white away jerseys, and the pewter alternate jerseys. I'll tell you what, dude. I know for a fact I'm going to get the home jersey. But the question then becomes, am I going to get the white or am I going to get the pewter?
Oh, dude. The whites are really nice. But
they are.
That
so
pewter's
nice.
like you said, unique.
It's one of a kind.
Man, I'm a sucker for any like dark jersey, like black, sort of gray, pewter, like. So I'd probably lean that way if I were you.
And I mean, another reason that I had taken into account today, I had a really nice daydream about meeting up with some buddies of mine. You were there, by the way, in my daydream.
Yeah.
You were also there. Cannon Fire podcast in full force at the What the Buck tailgate off of Ohio Avenue. But it was just so good. In this daydream, I had a loaded plate. I had some like badass looking mac and cheese, maybe a burger, and I had some ribs, right?
Oh man.
And I'm in my new uniform. I've got my big game day sun hat on.
Trying
I've got
not
my
to get
buck
it dirty
beads.
from the ribs.
Trying not to get it dirty. And that's when the thought crossed my mind. With a pewter jersey, you don't necessarily have to worry about sauce getting on there early in the morning because, let's be honest, it'll be a little bit less visible than it would be on a white jersey. You know, I think the white jersey looks damn good. But if I'm going to wear it to the game and be
Imagine getting ribs on that.
Right. If I'm going to be the fat, drunk slob that I am for 3 hours before kickoff, I'd rather not do it in a white jersey. You feel me?
Yeah. Well, I mean, but it's also the heat factor, you know?
Yeah, that is true. You go to those early season games, it gets hot. Unless we're playing under the lights, baby, which I feel like we got some primetime games under the lights coming up early in the season.
Like that's when you're going to see the pewter jerseys. So.
Yeah. Oh, those are going to look
like,
so
let's say they have... they're gonna play a road game under the lights, but I also think they're gonna get a home game. So I
think they get 2 home games under the lights.
I was gonna say I hope they get 2 home games because I would like to see one with the red and one with the pewter. I don't want to see both with the pewter, because I want to see like what the pewter looks like in like the daytime. So like that's sort of like their color rushes, like. The color rushes were only worn at night because it was a Thursday night football thing, and I think they look really good, maybe even better, like in daylight.
Yeah, you saw it during the Colts game. You saw it during the Panthers game when Andrew Adams had his 4-interception game. Those color rush looked good. The all red looked good. They looked really good during the day. They popped for sure. But going back to what you said about having a game under the lights, I want to see more than I want to see the pewter. I want to see the Buccaneers play under the lights in Raymond James Stadium with those red home jerseys. Because I said this on the last episode, I believe. One of the things that I want to see, that I will pay good money to see, is a matchup between the Buccaneers and their red home jerseys, the Green Bay Packers, Monday Night Football, under the lights in Raymond James Stadium. If that doesn't take you back 25 years when the Bucs were kicking everybody's ass, then I don't know what does. I would pay good damn money to watch that matchup. I think that's going to be the best looking game all year, uniform-wise, because that's just, it screams old school football for me, and I can't wait.
I mean, you just think about, Favre and Sapp and Brooks, and, you just think about all the matchups, and, but, so have you ordered a Tom Brady jersey?
Not officially.
Not officially. Okay.
Not officially.
Well, as I might have explained, to answer my side of the question, I might have explained a few episodes ago that I'm not a huge football jersey guy.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know what your problem is, dude. What the hell?
Okay. All right. Calm down. So... I don't know, just it's something I just always feel like, and I know you even said something, I was like, it's too baggy, and you were like, that's like the point, and I understand. But I had to make an exception. You know, it's not every day that you're going to be able to get a chance. Like, obviously, I could have gotten a Patriots Tom Brady jersey.
Where's the fun in that?
Yeah, exactly. So, like, the team that I have followed, like, my entire life has now got one of the greatest players to ever do it.
Your favorite player. I don't know if people know that, right? Your favorite football player?
It actually is. He is my favorite football player. Every Super Bowl I rooted for him. I have a few, you know, merchandise of TB12 like before like he even came to Tampa.
Did your TB12 shirt come in yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
The Barstool one came in.
Nice. Good thing he's wearing 12.
I got the bar. Yeah, exactly. And then, you know, so I did pre-order a Tom Brady jersey. Just, I mean, I'm, you know, there's a chance I might not even wear it. I may friggin' frame it for all I know, you know. But I felt like, you know, I couldn't pass up on the opportunity. You know, I'd be kicking myself if 10 years from now, you know, if he ends up winning a Super Bowl with the Bucs, 10 years from now he retires, goes in the Hall of Fame, and they're all talking about his career, you know, his end of his career, his last 2-3 years with the Bucs, and how great he was, that I didn't own a jersey. So
right.
I ended up, you know, I had a coupon actually, so I ended up, it was actually a gift card from Christmas.
Oh, look at that.
I had not used, and it was a $50 gift card. So I got the jersey for $50.
Hell yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, that was part of the reason I got it. If it would have been like a $10 coupon, I don't know if I would have paid $90 like right now to get it. But you know, I ended up ordering one, so it said it'll be here like late July, early August. I don't know with the whole, you know, virus situation if that'll stay the same or not, but I hope it does, because I mean the red one looks sweet. You know, it's a classic look. You know, when they first came out, I was like, man, should have ordered the alternate pewter one. But at the same time, I was like, you know what? Like, it's the red is the classic one. They won the Super Bowl wearing the reds. If they ever go to the Super Bowl again with Tom Brady, they're not going to wear the pewter ones. They're going to wear either the red or the whites.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, all right, I feel better about it.
That's good. Well, I'm glad you feel secure in your purchase and you actually got a jersey, knowing that you're not a jersey guy. We've got one more voicemail I want to get into, and then we're going to talk about some of the things we can expect from an interesting NFL draft coming up within the next few weeks. Let's get into our final voicemail of the show. This one out of the 813. What have you got?
Hey there. So I'm going to try to remain anonymous because, again, like, you know, the information that I was going to provide, like, was possibly, like, dangerous. But when my dad had mentioned that he had seen the uniforms a few months ago, and he said that they were red and he liked them better than the ones before, I didn't expect a drastic difference, but I think it's because that the differences are so subtle that all they have to do is go back to like Super Bowl era uniforms. I really like the dense colors. I think that they did a really good job emphasizing the pewter. With the new uniforms, I think that simple was the best way to go. Simple is typically the best way to go when it comes to football uniforms, and they crushed it. It's badass. I think it's imposing, and I'm looking forward to a good season.
Thanks for calling in, my man. That is actually a good buddy of mine who I have brought up on the show. I'm not going to say his name because, as he said, he's going to try and remain anonymous, but he is the one who gave me the tip all those months ago that the Buccaneers were indeed going to be changing their uniforms, and the new ones were red and better than the ones they had before. So he's just following up, telling us his opinion on the uniform, and ironically enough, the only voicemail we got who is really not a big fan of the pewter. And you know what? I've seen it here and there, but I would say the response to this uniform unveiling is overwhelmingly positive compared to the one that happened in 2014. So,
well, I mean, in 2014's defense, I have two things. One, the photo shoot that they did for 2014 was awful.
Yeah, it didn't really do those justice at all.
It made those look 10 times worse than I mean, they were bad, but it made them look 10 times worse than they actually were. And I remember they released the away ones first, and I was like, holy cow. And I was like, these are different. And another thing is that, you know, when those jerseys released, there was no alternate. There wasn't.
Yeah.
In 2014, the first year, there was not an alternate jersey. There wasn't. The color rush didn't come into play until 2015. So there was not another jersey to really look at. And I think everybody loves a good alternate jersey. I also think that the reason so many people really like the pewter right now is because they've kind of already seen the home and away ones. Like, they've already seen them. If you look, it's the same thing, just updated. The pants are darker. The Buccaneer font is new. The ship is new.
That's really it. In the realm of changes,
they're the same thing. Yeah.
In the realm of changes, the only thing that changed was the logo on the side of the helmet, the font across the chest, and the updated pirate ship on the sleeve.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep. And I mean, the orange is still there. And
which
now,
I told you it was going to be. Thank you very much. I'll take that.
Okay, whatever. Take your little victory parade there.
I will. I will. I'm doing it right now. Having a great time.
Sweet.
So babies are throwing me footballs. People are throwing me beers.
Man. Oh man, cracking them over your head.
One guy's falling out of a tree.
Oh man, they're all hanging out windows to see.
Yeah, loving to see
the beardless wonder, man. Let me ask you a question really fast. Okay. Are you gonna grow it back or no?
No, yeah, beard is definitely going to be making a return, because without it, I don't have anything. This is the first time that people on CFP, I think, have ever seen my chin, or lack thereof. Yeah. So with the beard, I feel like a fuller man, so it's definitely on its way back.
Let's put it into perspective, ladies and gentlemen. I haven't seen him without a full beard. Probably all I've known him.
I was in high school playing football the last time I didn't have facial hair.
When I first met him is when he didn't have a beard. That's literally it.
That was what, 2013?
Probably 2014, I would say, probably.
Fair.
Because 2013 is when I started the page, so
yeah,
I would have to think I'd probably have to get a little bit of following. So probably 2014 or so. Yeah, but I mean that's crazy, guys. So that's how long he's had the beard, and he hasn't shaved it any time other than that. It's always been there. So yeah. But where was I?
We were talking about the old uniforms.
Yeah, the orange, and so there's orange in the home and away, but there's not any bit of orange in the pewter. So I think that leads a lot of people, just because it's something new, it's something different, and they've already seen the home and away jerseys, that a lot of people are naturally going to like the pewter more. They just are.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think it's a good look.
It's also something that people have wanted for years. The color rushes, they wanted to be pewter.
Yeah.
And they got red. They wanted it to be creamsicle, and they got red. Now they finally have pewter, so.
Yeah. And I would say the pewter jersey, at least the design, it's almost giving me shades of, do you remember back in the day, the Super Bowl era uniforms, of course, but the Bucs would sell that black alternate jersey that they never wore one time.
It wasn't even an official jersey from them. They just sold it.
Right.
I don't know. It was just a thing to sell. I actually have one. I have a Mike Allstott one.
Yeah, those were nice jerseys, but the Buccaneers never wore them. They were in Madden. On the PS2 Maddens, you can select those uniforms and wear them. I think in some of the newer ones you can, too.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you can now, but I remember in Madden 17 you could and stuff.
Yeah. So they almost gave me shades of that, only because it was a darker design. Obviously, they're not black. They are pewter, but in the grand scheme of things, they really they look the same.
It's good that they're not black. That's not the Bucs' colors.
No, it's definitely not. And I mean, black uniform in Tampa, it's hot as hell. You've got guys passing out there. It would not be good. Mike Evans, the guy can't get through training camp without cramps. Can you imagine him in September in Raymond James Stadium where it's 107 degrees on the field, humidity is 108%, and he's got black on black? Are you shitting me? The guy would die. He wouldn't make it to halftime. So, let me speak my piece on these last uniforms as we lay them to rest. And, of course, our sights are headed towards the 2020 season and the new uniforms, but I want to say a little something about these uniforms. I'll toss it to you, and then we can bury them here on the show forever. All they ever needed was different numbers. In the grand scheme of things, the design was not that bad. I didn't mind the pewter on the shoulders. I didn't mind the orange stripe. I thought the pants looked sharp. I thought sometimes when they wore the red jersey on the white pants, it would look damn good. And I didn't mind the color rush. But all they needed was new numbers. If they would have put big TV numbers like they have now on those jerseys, I guarantee you people would look back on this era a little bit differently. But they didn't, and we had to suffer through 5 seasons 6 seasons, excuse me, of the alarm clock font uniforms. I mean, it was kind of cool that they lit up under the lights, but other than that, the numbers were hideous. I thought the designs weren't terrible, and I think they deserved a little bit more love than they get, but they are gone forever, hopefully. How do you look back on this era of Buccaneers uniform history?
Yeah, I agree with you. What I would have done was I would have literally put these numbers that they just released today, those numbers, I would have put on the alarm clock jerseys, and I would have got rid of the orange stripe on the shoulder. So the orange I would have probably kept the orange Nike symbol on the side.
I would have kept the orange on the pants, on the stripe on the pants.
Yeah, sure. But I would have got rid of the stripe on the shoulder, and I would have just kept the orange in the numbers. That's what I would have done. And I think because then you'd have a red jersey with a pewter top, and a little bit of orange there, and a red ship. I think that would have looked pretty nice. Maybe you would have changed the face mask. Another little subtle thing: the helmet, the flag is slightly smaller, slightly.
On the new,
very little, yes, very little, but it is smaller.
Okay. Any last words?
Just a little. It's not much, not much at all. But if you look, it is a tad smaller. I forget why they said, but it is.
Okay, fun fact. I actually didn't know that until just now. So, let me ask you this, and then of course we'll move on as we wrap up the show here. If you had to sum it up all in one sentence, what would you say about the old uniforms?
Man, because whenever I think of those old uniforms, it's not good.
A legacy of failure.
But I mean, let's look back here. You had kicking issues in those uniforms. You drafted a kicker in the second round who failed in those uniforms. You drafted a quarterback at first overall who failed in those uniforms. You consistently put out a horrible defense in those uniforms. The offensive line was in those uniforms. Your first season in those uniforms, you won 2 games, including no home games.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. I'm trying not to be too negative here, but I can't come up with anything. So I guess just a waste of time, pretty much. That's the sentence I'm going to use, because in the end, Jameis Winston was a waste of time. In the end, Roberto Aguayo was a waste of time.
That Jameis Winston comment is going to piss a lot of people off.
Well, it's the truth. He's not on the team anymore, ain't he?
Hey, if you're pissed off about that comment, give us a call, 813-433-0323. Lines are open 24/7. You can yell at Evan as much as you want. It'll make for great content.
Oh, that's good. Hey, I'm just speaking the truth here, fellas. If you don't like it, that's fine. I respect your opinion. But, at the end of the day, he's not on the team anymore. And you spent a lot of time watching him and watching highlights of him, and he's not playing for you anymore. So, all that time, what did it matter?
That's how the Philly Bucks fan does it, ladies and gents. Shooting from the hip, no punches pulled. Mr. Evan Wanish out here taking names and cashing checks. If I had to sum it up in one sentence, I would say overdone but underrated. And that's just pertaining to the uniforms. I'm not talking about the level of play we saw from the team while they wore those uniforms. I'm not talking about who failed, who didn't wearing those uniforms. I'm talking solely about the uniforms. Overdone, but underrated. Overdone in the sense that there was just a little too much going on, the numbers, of course, being as hideous as they were, but underrated in the fact that, at the end of the day, the design wasn't too bad. They just needed some new numbers. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it, and I hope you hate it. So, let's move on to our last topic before we wrap things up here for episode 108. The NFL Draft is approaching us. That is going to be happening at the end of April as scheduled. That was a big debacle for a little while. The NFL going back and forth with owners and GMs, people speaking their mind about what should happen with the NFL Draft. We heard theories of 1 round per night, extending the draft, making it longer so these teams have more time to scout. The NFL said, nope, it's going to happen as scheduled. You guys need to prepare. And just recently, there was an announcement put out that teams need to prepare for the draft to be done virtually. So at home, in your office, away from team facilities, and it's going to be done virtually.
Yep.
Evan, what the hell is this?
It's, when you play franchise mode in Madden, that's what it is. And you draft, that's what it is. I mean, even like GMs and head coaches, they can't be in the same room. So it's not like everybody can just gather up at the GM's house and, do it. They can't.
Yeah.
I heard today, they were talking about the Ravens and John Harbaugh and their GM. I forget, DaCosta is his last name. I forget his first name.
Is it Eric?
Yeah, that might be right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Good job.
Hell yeah.
They were like, apparently they live near each other, and they basically said that before the draft happens, they might take a long walk through the woods, and then just go, like, when their walk's done, they're gonna take like an hour walk, but when their walk's done, go back into their houses because they can't be together.
Right.
So I mean, it's unprecedented, and it probably will be hopefully will be the only time we'll ever see something like this in our lifetime. To where like, you could be seeing a GM actually announce who he's going to pick from his house.
Yeah.
And that's pretty insane to me. So I don't know how they're going to do it prospect wise, like if they're going to have cameras in the prospect's home or not. But as far as NFL personnel goes, everybody's going to have to be on one big Skype or Zoom call. Hey, maybe we can get in on that, right?
Yeah, right. That was actually something. There was a head coach who was worried about that. I want to say it was
Harbaugh.
Yeah, it was Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah,
he had come out and he said he was worried about people hacking their Zoom calls and getting in there and getting inside information.
It really is possible. Anytime you do something with like the internet, it's always possible.
Yeah.
And you don't think like hackers right now are salivating at this? Like, they want to get in there. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see, and it'll be a unique experience. I would assume even the draft coverage, Todd McShay, Mel Kiper, Trey Wingo, Louis Riddick are normally the team on the first night. I would assume they will literally be on a Skype call. Like, they'll still be talking. It'll be presented like a TV show.
Yeah.
But they'll just be on a Skype call. And, the ESPN graphic people will obviously still put up graphics of players and, highlights of players as Kiper and McShay are talking about them and stuff like that. But in that sense, it'll be the same. But yeah, as far as the overall pick announcement goes, like, I don't even know if the commissioner is going to announce the picks. I
really hope they go out of their way to at least give Roger Goodell some sort of production value in what he does, because there is nothing that is going to turn me off more to watching the draft on TV than seeing Roger Goodell come out in like his boxers and a t-shirt, walk up to some counter in his kitchen and say, all right, with the first overall pick in the NFL draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Joe Burrow. And it's just the stunned silence from the two other people in his living room who aren't allowed to talk because he's on national TV. The TV coverage is really just where this becomes as blurry as it is. And it is going to be weird, brother, and I'll agree with you. I hope it's something that we don't have to go through for at least the rest of our lifetimes. The world is a strange place right now, and unfortunately this is what we have to deal with. But at least we're getting some NFL action in the offseason, and we'll have something to talk about, of course, with the draft going down at the end of April. But really, really weird. Now, when it comes to the draft, we know the weird circumstances that they're going to be under. Let's close the show with this. I want to toss it to you. What can people expect from us in the near future regarding the draft, and what are some things they should keep an eye out for?
Yeah, of course. So the draft is going to be, in 2 weeks, 2 weeks from Thursday. So it's quickly approaching. I know it still feels like it's an eternity, but like
it also feels like last week when it was in February. The Bucs said new uniforms in April.
Yeah, March. Like I don't know. I feel like March really dragged on. April's going by kind of quick for me.
Yeah.
Like April Fool's Day was a week ago. Like that's crazy.
Yeah. Don't remind me, man.
Like, it's already April 7th. We're getting to be, Like, we're almost in double digits in April, so it's quickly approaching. And we're obviously going to have draft coverage for you guys. So next week we'll probably do a show that is dedicated to just the draft. It'll literally be, just draft. Talking about prospects that the Bucks could possibly be interested in, just the draft in general. Maybe, some surprises. Maybe I'll, reveal a little top 15 mock draft for you guys. Normally I do top 10, but since the Bucks are sitting at 14, probably feel stupid not to. Maybe I will do top 10 and then leave my Bucks pick for the next week when we do, probably on Monday or Tuesday, since the draft will be held on that Thursday. We'll go through and we'll talk, our last minute predictions for the Bucks and, what we're thinking. Possibly, is there a scenario where they trade up? Is there a scenario where they trade down? So, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of good draft content coming at you guys, and just get ready. And like I said, the draft's going to be here before we know it, and hope you guys are enjoying the content and hopefully stick along. So
absolutely, hoping to have some good, talented people joining us for that draft coverage as well. Not going to throw out any names at all, but we'll just see if we can fasten that down for some time in the future. Want to bring you guys some of the best draft content you can get out there, Buccaneers-wise. Going to have a ton of fun with some mock drafts coming up and much, much more, as Evan just said. But ladies and gentlemen, that's just about going to do it for this episode of the Cannon Fire Podcast. Thank you so much for listening or watching with video on YouTube. And if you haven't yet, make sure you head over to YouTube and subscribe to the Cannon Fire Podcast. That's the #1 way to take in the show. We've got the video screens. You can see myself and Evan's beautiful face. You heard me talking about my mustache and lack of chin at the beginning of the show. Go see it for yourself. If you're listening and you want to check it out, head over to our YouTube channel, Cannon Fire Podcast, and do not forget to subscribe. You can follow the show on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All of those are Cannon Fire Podcast. You can follow myself on Instagram and Twitter at Redicus. If you follow me, I'll follow you back. And you can follow my co-host Evan on Twitter at EvanNFL and Instagram at BucksWave. How's the growth on BucksWave doing lately? I know you got a huge boost with Brady coming to town. How's that still going?
Yeah, so it's slowing down a little bit, but still got a little bit of a boost. It's 23.3K, so. Hell
yeah, man.
So, yeah, but like I said, dude, I had 21.4 at 4 p.m. on the Tuesday that Brady, he would sign that night. I had 21.4. So, yeah, it just keeps growing, and, I'm happy for a lot of everybody that are, going to be able to see the content, and hopefully they really like it, so.
Yeah. The chase for 25,000 followers is on. Hopefully you can get there before the season starts. And for us at CSP right now, the chase for 2,000 followers on Instagram is on. We are a little under 100 away, so if you guys want to give us a follow over on Instagram at Cannon Fire Podcast, help us hit 2,000. Maybe we'll have a little surprise for you when we do. Before we get out of here, last but not least, a shout out to our sponsors at Pinecrest Printing and Signs. The world is a crazy place right now. Things are being canceled and shut down left and right. You are being urged to stay in your home. But if you have a small business, or if you have a podcast, or if you have a brand that you're trying to push, you still have to get stuff done. And with this much time on your hands, it is an opportune time to pick up the phone and call our friends at Pinecrest Printing and Signs in Brandon. They are still open, still serving the Tampa Bay business community as they have been since 2001. They can hook you up with logo designs, apparel, business cards, banners, vehicle wraps, any size, any job. They're going to get it done in the most professional way possible. So give them a call. Their offices are open Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Their number is 813-684-5444, or you can check out the website at pinecrestprinting.com. I am Rhett Matthew, and I thank you so much for listening to our show. I am signing off for my co-host, Evan Wanish, and we will talk to you guys next time. Go Bucks!